discovery into your personal story? Rising of the Origins is a free 3-day immersion starting October 18th, 2022. Day 1, setting the stage. Discover how to utilize the elements to set your foundation, calling in an elemental being for protection, being centered, open, and closing space. Day 2, gift and purpose. Merging with the elements, we can discover our gift and our purpose, releasing what no longer serves us, recognizing our authentic self, being a conduit by connecting to our higher self, our Sira, and more. Day 3, connecting the subtle and the elemental, the energetic centers, the elemental realm as doorways, gathering information on the highway, working with the centers to figure out the elements that creates our current threads. Being able to log in here at club.tanyad.tv/login and watch the replays, explore the goodies inside your own personal library. My wish for you is that through each day you awaken the spirit that resides within you. Through seeing yourself with vital eyes, life transforms, passions ignited through the information superhighway, awakening the spirit. Save your spot and activate your portal at club.tanyad.tv/rise, and I will see you.
Well, I just realized I didn't update any of my show titles, but with all of that, inshallah and ashe, blessings to you. And it's this heartful, fully devoted day, by the way. So it's like, what have we decided to devote the streams of our heart to? Those heartfelt strings, those heart's relations, the sectors of our contracts, agreements, the interactions out into the future that we are going to commit to. They need to be in alignment to honor, obey ourselves till death do us part within our heart space. So if you're feeling anything less than excitement over any of the choices that you're kind of faced with today, maybe some challenges, the best option there is to let the cosmic soup simmer for a long simmer before you initiate any action. So this inner peace that you're going to be feeling, hopefully, is a signal that you are literally on the correct path. Anything that is a loose end or an untied stream, that needs to be settled. It's kind of the business of partnerships and plans. It's this organic energy. It's going to feel more natural, organic. So it's this energy of opening and accepting and allowing the voice to stream into the future, our throat center, heartfelt conversations. So with that, welcome to the Daily Snippet. I am your host, and I'll be recalibrating my show notes, but I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, and a subtle energy surgeon. But I do go by the term holistic shaman medium, which is a merging of it all, coined by my friend Rich in Mongolia of 2018. But my intention is to utilize these indigenous technologies along with the elemental realms, our original divine blueprint to navigate our soul's harmonic through these realms, the elemental, the imaginal, into and through the shamanic portal, which is our 8th energetic center, along with the cosmos, the subtle realms, and really so much more. With offerings, prescriptions, and rituals, the otherworldly kind, to really add to your own sauce, the juice of your ingredients, your personal container within those ingredients streaming through, with your personal medicine, your prime directive, which is online today, just assisting you in discovering your inner genius, the personal medicine, the star that I believe we all are uniquely, and really reintroducing you to that magical being, the essence that resides within each and every one of us, so that our light shines even brighter. My name is Tanya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channels, please do, YouTube or otherwise. You can find me at Tanya D on YouTube, Musing with Tanya D, my podcast, the Other Worldly Insight season. That's the title for 2022. I'm kind of musing for 2023, but it's out for your musing pleasure, the Libra of season. We do have Venus in the house, exploring our ability to open up and accept and receiving, being in receivership, being in that reception, spiritual truths, our hearing sister, clairaudience as well. And also a big shout out to my new subscribers, to the community, the village. Thank you, and ashe. And also a shout out to those of you that have been a part of my journey since the beginning. What a wild roller coaster ride. Gratitude as well. And if you don't mind hitting the bell button so you are notified, and remember, a comment or a share does get you a message for your day to get you out on your way. it really does help with the algorithm, which I've got to switch up. It just helps echo it out into the galactic universe. Insights of the other world, the world of spirit, subtle energies, the chakras, the elementals, and so much more, really. And you can also find me on other social channels like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, of course. But if your soul is nudging, possibly grabbing you, kicking and screaming, to really dive on deeper into the realms of the other world, head on over to my Musing Corridor. This is my digital library in the sky where I have a venue. I have some amazing options and opportunities to assist you, to guide you, along with a private sacred circle, a village to utilize as well, a community. I am your otherworldly shamanic assistant. You truly are your own healer. But sometimes we do need an otherworldly life coach assistant to get us out of our own way. Sir Didymus is, he's barking at me. He wants to join the show. So, come here. Fur babies. Man, he's losing his fur. It's the worst, right? But with that, just a few announcements. I don't know what's happening with me lately, but our options today, look how fun this is. We've got the black cat with the moon and the clouds, pumpkins, of course, who doesn't need pumpkins, and a little witchy poo and a raven or a crow there highlighting our night. Anybody getting out there witchy stuff? I need a hat, a different witch hat, by the way. Not quite this one. This one my cute little dad gave me. Everybody, just my hats. But a few announcements. With that, the early bird opportunity to invest in yourself. The door is still open to utilize your intuitive gifts and your psychic abilities. To the energy world, it's a merging of the intuitive energy, the spirit realm to the physical body and more. Getting our energy body connected to our physical body, energy to matter, or spirit to matter taking form, bringing it in. So change your stars, or at least activating them on the energetic highway, the star that we uniquely are. And as we begin to merge the energy body, the subtle energy body, even our fields with our physical and our soul, we then become the being, the star we're meant to be. Along with the cosmos bringing that in, who we are. And this investment is at the angel numbers of 999, a dollar below 1,000. Actually, it might be back to its origin, actually, the original investment price. So you may want to grab that before I update it. And we have the rising of the origins. Yesterday, I set the foundations, the stage, the elemental stage. The replay is actually on the highway. Tomorrow is day 2, streaming in at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So check your local time zone to see when I'm going live in your area of the world. And then again, next Tuesday is the free day 3. But join the Rising of the Origins on Facebook. It's a private society, if you will. To be part of this free immersion, this container. The link is actually in the show notes. That still is right. But the gallery, there's a gallery of gifts in there as well. So super fun. And the Scorpio season podcast also launches on Monday. The new moon and the season of Pluto is coming in as well. There's lots of stuff happening, right? An eclipse new moon, even a meditation for that. And also, of course, I have some otherworldly amusing news percolating, so I'm kind of excited about that. A wait list. If you have yet to check out my updated website, tanyad.tv, be sure to give that a little sneak peek. But the universe is aligning. It's opening us up to accept a new way of receiving the fabric of our relationships, a new paradigm to our greatest, highest octave. So being that we are kind of finalizing or editing the last chapter in the season of Libra, we're committing to the relationships that we really heartful feeling wish to have in our lives and our surroundings. So if you were able to do a little research and finding new adventures, connecting with other wholehearted beings, the magic of the sauce, those ingredients, is to make the reservation go out on a heart. Go out on your heart, the whole heart, a heartfelt adventure. The universe is going to be celebrating, and the core of that is our chalice. These streams of the divine love incarnate are really ready to not just be seen, but to be witnessed, like an eyewitness. Maybe you're doing third-person visioning, actually, through your third eye to see this. But community is one of the most ever needed commitments ever, a village container. So this is the greatest offering to all relations at the moment. I always think of sweat lodges. So take it to the highest of the highs, if you will, elevating that frequency. And there may also be a sensation, a feeling in our consciousness, our conscious awareness, where decisions need to be extra led, heart led by our desires. They need to be balancing the thread lines, if you will, for the entirety of the heart. But the key always is our heart. So if an old way of being, or an old paradigm, an old power trip even, controlling one usually appears today, could be a person, an event, a situation, in relating, just be firm, stay grounded, if you will. So if you were on the Rising of the Origins yesterday, it was all about setting the stage, the foundation of the origin. Sorry, Diddy's dancing with me. So kind of taking the lead with the elements, the streams of grace, that breath and that pause. So our thoughts may also be getting an update, a galactic new download, or even an entire software update, if you will. So what are our thoughts around relationships? Often we get so comfortable in the thick of it, we get stuck in the mud. So it's kind of time to cleanse the parlor, become uncomfortable, move from the paradigm furniture, if you will. So maybe you're feeling a little bit bored. You've got the same old song and dance. So it's a magical day to bring in the Fae, who's online. So it's time for like galactic otherworldly change. And we know the chalice, the queen bee, is not just beyond ready. She's probably super excited for the change, the transformation, and just knowing that we are ready to step out and be on a new stage of life. It lights us up. And there is an air of energy of leadership and professionalism, control, making decisions even. So situations that need to be really managed, heartfelt managed. So you may feel possibly naturally responsible, but even capable of really having that take charge initiative of taking charge of your own life, ownership of you being your own badass boss of your own self. So it's easier, but don't be overly bossy within yourself. That does make the tower kind of fall down. But the decisions of a lifetime become a commitment of a new paradigm, a habit. So be specific, be clear on what relationships or a new way of relating, even a concept that you are ready to commit to, decide upon, you've been editing. So this could be literal, it could be a physical person, it could be something real and tangible, or it may be something out into the starry gaze of the future, visioning and mapping out a future, what that relationship may feel like or be like. Even how you relate to even positive thinking, maybe an attitude that you have within yourself. You're shifting that attitude to a new paradigm of how you relate to yourself. But whatever it is, this is the energy that really streams forward, and decisions that we make today become the base note, the tonality for relationships out into the future, over the next or even further out, streaming forward. It's kind of like the Merlin effect, if you know what I'm picking up on. But how often do we sit with our feelings when we make decisions on our feelings? And our feelings are a prime directive. Water is the largest elemental, the ocean, the galaxy, even in our bodies, right? We're mostly made of water. So feelings, emotions, the waves, tidal waves, and all, even hurricanes and tornadoes. But if you have any less than feelings like doubts and shame and blame or worry, I'm thinking of earth or fear, water, which is the element of water as well, and Saturn. So that may be concerning. So then our foundation, the building block of these decisions, is on a weak foundation. The earth is weak. There's this possibility that the foundation of that commitment or that heartfelt desire is going to have a flaw in it, a thread loose maybe, making it a challenge to really live up to that. And our heart, it's always about the chalice. That's the core processor, the energy of our heart, if you will. But the heart must be open to accept a new way of committing and peace in the flowing virtue, those peaceful, easy feelings, which I talked about 2 days ago. So it's the flow, it's relationship flow. The scales are the heart and our feelings. It's in balance, it's in harmonics. And the flow is an organic, natural fit. It's the structure, it's aligned, it's resonating in this pathway, the paradigm of our heart and our feelings, what we want to lead with, heartfelt leading from this day forward. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with that. I still can't believe I didn't update my notes. put him in there and didn't hit the button. No worries there. But on the elemental highway, we do have a Yin Wood Snake of a day. So this is a nature snake versus a desert snake. It kind of reminds me of like literally a green snake out in, I don't know, I'm thinking of like the Amazon or something like that. Something, sorry, my house is cold. But Yin Wood is like vines. And the thing with a Yin Wood person, or just in general, the more you prune or cut them, the more they grow. It actually makes them stronger. And the snake and the tiger, those are both the birth of an element, which is curious. The snake is the birth of metal, and the tiger is the birth of fire. So being that metal has this energy, it's in the season of the dog, it's losing steam in the month. So our day, the vine, the yin wood, is it's still dry, it's parched. There's lots of heavy dry earth within the dog, and the yin metal is rooted in the dog. It's hidden. It's not in storage, it's just hidden. But being that the earth is strong and dry, yin water is actually the most needed element to moisten up the earth and provide nourishment to our day. Water is a resource for yin wood. So we do have resource with the tiger on the year. So something outside of us is being resourceful all year long, by the way. But the tiger's an asset. It's an opposing force to our day, however. So it's like the grass in a big wise old tree. But the big water is adding to that. And the metal right next door, the young metal, is producing more of it. And the snake is actually feeding the dog. We've got all the elements today, but metal, we do have the flow, again, all the elements. It's very yang though. We still have, our days kind of getting clouded by all that yang energy. The outer world is kind of consuming, but vines, they know how to creep in. But we do need some refined metal to kind of prune up our day to balance it a bit more. We do have a charmer coming in on the month. So it's a day to be charming, flirting, stuff like that, utilizing our charm. But we also have the altruist coming in on the year. And this is the well-being of the other. So these would be like charming songs that speak to the social injustices that are happening. But yin metal, but go with the elemental that calls to you. I would probably watch the replay from yesterday because I really kind of dove into the elementals. What we can ground into in different ways and bring them in as an asset energetically. So off to our messages. I am bringing in the Fae today, by the way. But we've got a cat, we have a pumpkin patch, and we've got our little witchy poo. Oh, I don't know. They all look great. Just saying out loud. Okay, we're going with the Fae. So first up, if you chose the black cat, reminds me of little Lilith. I have a black cat, Lilith. What a great name, right? But first up, we've got the Puke. I haven't had the Puke for a while. He's part of the fairy challengers, little Pukiness there. Great name for a critter. But these are the ones that bring our fears, our denials, our inner traumas, insecurities, these fairy challengers, delusions, confusions. But they test us. They test us to see what we have already learned to move us up to a higher level of being, knowing that we have the potential of passing these tests. But they're more of an initiation. Sometimes they're minor, sometimes they're major. But the Puke, the 60, that's a Libra energy. So you are seeing or sensing the relationships kind of turning the corner, committing to ourselves first. We do need to trust the open or the ability to open up and receive and accept a new relationship, the relationship as a whole, open to receive or even accepting a balanced, harmonious way of relating to ourselves or to the world. So it's like, are we able to open up to accept a new way of relating? But the Puke is a shapeshifter, good and bad, bad and good. It's this paradox. It's a resolution. But being a shape changer, he appears in whatever guise he thinks will most confusing to us, depending on his purpose. He weaves spells to kind of bemuse our senses and confuse our judgment. He's the master of the arts of illusion and delusion. He holds up a distorting mirror to reveal the bad in the good and the good in the bad. But the Puke also wishes to show us the bad in what we think to be good and vice versa to opposings. But this may further even confuse us, or it may help us to gain a more balanced understanding of how things really authentically are. So he's also very against having a rigid mindset, and only in his own way. He encourages the development of the inquiring mind. The inquiring mind wants to know. But his true face, I'm not sure that a shapeshifter, a changer, even has a true face. But if he did, he did obviously sit there long enough to be painted. However, he's very proud of the faces that he does assume, and with them, he offers us these contradictions, these paradoxes, and he finds it all too easy to confuse our own judgment because we're often not thinking clearly anyway. So sometimes we even hold two or more contradictory beliefs in our boxes within our mind. So if one is true, we think we finally consider them, then the other must be false. So it's like this paradigm. But that's not so. Sometimes they're both false. Maybe they're partly true, partly false. But we tend to cling desperately to our beliefs, even when they make no sense to the other, or maybe they're even the counter to our actual experiences. Usually these paradoxes, these confusions, they're really often self-created, and he only needs just a little bit to dress them up, add a little sparkle, and dangle them before us, kind of like the carrot, in order to induce confusion. So it's in this confusion within that we're likely to believe almost anything that somebody presents or offers to us. It kind of reminds me of an MLM, when they present us with like, get this real quick, get this right real now. Makes me kind of crazy, but just to feel as if we have a metaphorical kind of anchor in reality. So he brings this challenge for us to wake us up, to stop projecting our confusions on our day-to-day reality. And once we've seen the truth, the authenticity, the authentic truth, these seeming contradictions, these paradoxes just melt away. They dissipate. So in a matter of having the self-realization, the solution, kind of like a Zen koan, it's like, what is the sound of one hand clapping, right? And when we get the answer, usually by a burst of insight, those ahas, just cutting through the confusion and the paradoxes, it always seems really simple, and we wonder, like, how could we have been in such a tizzy about such a simple thing? And then we wonder why everybody doesn't understand this very obvious thing. But being that the Puke is otherworldly, there actually may be a paradox that we are unable to kind of resolve at the moment. Reorganizing or recognizing the paradox really helps us move closer to the solution for it. But the information or the experience that we need to reuse, as it's not there available to us yet. So the trick here is to avoid becoming bogged down by this. We need to get on with different aspects of our life at the same time, acknowledging that there is a difficulty there or a challenge. And even if possible, sometimes we have to postpone the decisions that are related and like take a breath, take a pause and relax about it. And just knowing that the insight we need inside of us and outside is going to come to us. But we can't rush in. We can't rush it. So it's like, if we do try to rush it, it usually only causes us to become more deeply mired in the muck, in the confusion. So it's about relaxing and like waiting, staying alert. It's really about taking the breath and the pause, the zero, the pause point of peace, which is the number of the day. And fairies do like to trip us up organically to give us a new perspective in the world, looking through a whole different set of eyes, changing the paradigm, I guess. So it's a Puke. So if you chose, next up, I'm going to go with the pumpkins. We just had Lily. She's out there, but we finally got a singer. Woohoo! A singer in the house. This is the singer of connection, which I love this card. And we are all into the sixes. It's all about opening to accept a new way of relating to ourselves, new paradigms. This 6 is the opposing 6 to the 60 of the Puke, by the way. So this is like new paradigm in relationships. This is time and space, where our heart needs to take the time and the space to connect to a new way of relating, being in relationships, a new paradigm. And the singer of connection, the singers of the realm, These are the great ones. Their wingspan the multiverse in all directions, dimensions, all the realms, which is great, all the worlds. And we've given them a variety of different names, whether it's angels, divas, dakinis, etc., even otherworldly elementals even. It really doesn't matter what we call them as long as we call upon them. So these are the ones, they're the singers of the underlying song of the universe. They're the great ones, the ones whose they're in all the realms all of the time. And they really are showing us what we have the potential ultimately to become and move us into that direction, comforting us when we fall off the path. So it's curious. We've got a singer today, right? We just had the Puke, the paradoxes, but just acknowledging the presence of them being in our lives and gratitude and guidance and just being receptive to their power and their energy that they are offering us today, the connection. So it's a circuitry that grounds their energy into the physical. It's doing like prayer and meditation, that kind of circuitry, having that flow in this connection. It's a spiritual connection. This particular card, it's karma, it's balance, it's actually empathy as well. But this is the singer that supports all connections, the web of light between the beings, all particles, between the past, the present, and the future. And it brings wholeness to the apparent dualities. It combines all of these energies, uniting all that was, is, or could be. And when we lose awareness of this connection in our day-to-day lives, that's when we feel isolated, alone, or lonely. We're bereft. But the energy is always there. It's still there. And we only need to be open to it to receive it. So there are emotions that really help us, assist us to open up. Love, compassion, trust, peace for myself, and so on. But there's other emotions that we tend to close down around unless we make a special effort to keep our hearts open, the core. So as you can probably guess what those are the emotions or feelings like jealousy, anger, fear, grief, and others of a similar kind of painful nature. But oftentimes, sometimes these very emotions, when carried to an extreme, they cause us to break down and then break through to the song of ecstasis, which is the song of the universe. So this is it's kind of a risky way to go as well. Often it's a difficult one, but I always say there's magic on the other side because a lot of times and often the breakdown just kind of stays broken for a long time. And sometimes we retreat back to a more kind of crippled version of our original self. So there's kind of a far better way of becoming ever more aware of our essentially holistic nature is to work at keeping our hearts open, threading, and seeing relationships, because that's what we're in right now, being earthed, centered, connected. So in meditation, just letting go of all of our defenses and flowing, and in doing so, we become more invulnerable, but being that the message from the singer of connection, is also otherworldly, it's dimmed. The light is dimmed. So we kind of need to ask ourselves if we are centered, connected to the elemental realm, the elements. Are we connected to source, the universe? And what do we need to do to be more aware of or enhance our connection in our body, mind, spirit, and soul to the universe and as well as around us? So there's some suggestions in the Rising of the Origins, day 1, again, setting the stage. I would be sure to tune in if you are unable to watch, or if you didn't watch the live, there's the replay. So super curious there. And our final message, if you chose the witchy poo, the witchy poo or the raven, I don't know. But this is the sage, which I've had the sage, something like the sage Monday, I believe. There was something, a priestess, I don't remember. A different sage, obviously, because I didn't use the fae, but part of the she, these are the people of the hills, the lords and the ladies, the old ones. They dance. All the fae actually dance, to be real. They love the poetry and the dance. But these ones do it, the she, to mediate the energies of the singer. And being that we just had the singer of connection, the sage is actually mediating the powerful energies of the singer of the connection to bring them into manifestation throughout our day and all the worlds. So that's super cool. So they do this dance for the pure joy of it, the joy molecules. So there's this great alchemical art, and these are the ones who create, nurture, they build worlds. They're the guardians, right? The guardians and the gatekeepers. They create frequent miracles, the miraculous kind. But the sage, the 19, this is imitating, or it's initiating an action through our heart. And it's the heart's initiation. It's the action to take. And then we have the ability to manifest it in the physical, to take it, to make form by loving and trusting and loving the manifestation, the creation. So that's awesome, right? Because we're at the end of the season of Libra. So it's about relationships, creating a manifestation, a relationship that you heartfelt love and you trust. But the sage is wisdom, it's hidden knowledge, it's retreating, it's even old age, and it's having patience. I always think of patience like of Job. But the sage is also a shaman, and not all wise men are shamans, and not all shamans are wise men. But this one is both. It's this power of informed wisdom, and wisdom made manifest by power, two sides of the same coin. But this is also the face of Father Time. I don't know if you can see the colors of the seasons surrounding him. I don't know if I took that great of a picture, but sometimes he is the old man of the mountain, the hermit, who's searching within for wisdom. He's got this understanding, and he's willing to share it with anybody who's truly seeking or who comes to him, a heartfelt seeker. He does have a blind eye. I don't know if you can see that, which is always super curious in Mongolia. One of the shamans that was there, I don't even want to go into it, but this enables him to look into other worlds, other realms, the wisdom that's buried so deeply within each of us. So where the singers dwell, that's what he's seeing into. So he has reached a stage of life, so this could be you, where you have yet to let go of, you've let go of many of the activities of your younger essence, younger kids, beings, and retreated somewhere from the outer world of the Fae, and become more deeply immersed in the inner landscapes of knowledge and inner visions, contemplation, and spirit. So on the exterior, he lives simply, almost austerely, but his inner world is filled to this overflowing flow with richness. It's like having the inner golds. So in order to pursue these studies more thoroughly, he's kind of cultivated a detachment. Sometimes being a hermit, people see this as remoteness or coldness, but he's no less loving for doing this. The sage finds the inner connections between everything, and he sees the connections with relationships, consequences, being seemingly separate ideas and beings and things, where love and compassion are the inevitable consequences of seeing truly, authentically, heartfelt. That then leads the sage to share his learning with others. This is like the mystic and the wizard. It's the shaman's portal, let's be real. What did I even think that? That's hilarious. So like any other wise elder, he leads by gently teaching from the vast store of wisdom, the innate wisdom. So when asked for his judgment, oftentimes about something, he's discriminating, but he is generous-hearted. He turns a blind eye to punishment, which is curious, feeling that, a lot of times we're hard on ourselves anyway, but what's needed more is like mercy, just a way of teaching that, to err is human. So we don't make the same mistake over and over again. So constantly learning, that's what a sage does, a wise man. And on one hand, valuing tradition and stability, but also understanding the values that we need for change and growth. We're always in transition. We're always in transformation. We're always like nature. So he can't go for a walk or a flight around the neighborhood without discovering, which we should be doing this too, something new and trying to see how it fits into the whole of it, like all of it, the unity. So he's always expanding his understanding of reality and deepening his awareness. So as we develop patience and compassion, it's all intertwined. We then begin to manifest the wisdom of the sage. So being that he too is otherworldly, it's been an otherworldly day, right? The wisdom of the sage has been blocked. It's artificial. It might be inappropriate boundaries even. They're set between different aspects of life. So it kind of turns into a mishmash of cosmic clutter, really. We then become unable to apply the learning in one sphere or one realm to different aspects of our life, our origins. Or the information is withheld, it's kept secret, it's under the rug. So when it can benefit others, which in turn also benefits us. So sometimes learning it's blocked by the belief that we already have all of the answers, but we never actually do, right? Learning is a great thing. I mean, I have tons of books, makes my son crazy, but twisted. When the sage's energy is twisted, it's an accumulation of facts and information, which then becomes unwise, unwisdom. So it's like knowledge being misused. Maybe it's distorted, facts distorted for selfish purposes, maybe information used to the detriment of the others. It's kind of a controlling energy, really. But there's always a risk of this when we set out to prove something rather than to discover something. So that's why I always like to say, stay curious and question everything. Other twists, maybe being excessively critical to yourself or others, maybe being cold and uncaring, maybe being cynical, maybe being embittered, bitterness. These are all faults of balance, and we are in the season of balance and harmony. So at its worst, it's like knowledge and experience. They're channeling toward the destruction of ourselves or possibly other people. So it's a combination of holding space between prayer and meditation and being in this blended state to unblock or negate these energies. They're all otherworldly, so it's definitely interesting for sure. But stay curious. And with that, sorry, my house is cold. Okay, let me see. We need to refine metal, create a boundary, metal, and balancing the threads of life. Lots of options. Our throat center, the heart, the sacral, the command center, our hands, the power pathway, leadership, leading with heart. You know, what does our heart authentically want? Heartfelt. Being heartfelt, devoted to the relationships that feel the greatest that there ever was, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, filling into what is right for us, and being by opening up and accepting our heart chalice today. So I would affirm that I am invoking like a witch. So mote it be. I am invoking my heart, honoring my core, my voice, through choices that I am discerning to feel exciting. So yeah, discerning is a huge thing. Tomorrow we have stage 2 of Rising of the Origins. Be sure to join this free immersion. There's lots of gifts and goodies on the highway there. And I do have Change Your Stars, like I said, in the venue at a limited time investment. Angel numbers as always. But with that, thanks for tuning in. It's cold here. I got to fix the show notes. It's a day. Feels like a Monday. I'm backwards. Everything's otherworldly. Thanks for tuning in. Ashe and blessings. That was a long one. But again, I appreciate you. Gratitude.
Awaken the spirit that resides in you. Are you ready to take the path of discovery into your personal story? Rising of the Origins is a free 3-day immersion starting October 18th, 2022. Day 1, setting the stage. Discover how to utilize the elements to set your foundation. Calling in an elemental being for protection, being centered, open, and closing space. Day 2, gift and purpose. Merging with the elements, we can discover our gift and our purpose, releasing what no longer serves us, recognizing our authentic self, being a conduit by connecting to our higher self, our Sira, and more. Day 3, connecting the subtle and the elemental, the energetic centers, the elemental realm as doorways, gathering information on the highway, working with the centers to figure out the elements that creates our current threads. Being able to log in here at club.tanyad.tv/login and watch the replays, explore the goodies inside your own personal library. My wish for you is that through each day you awaken the spirit that resides within you. Through seeing yourself with vital eyes, life transforms, passions ignited through the information superhighway, awakening the spirit. Save your spot and activate your portal at club.tanyad.tv/rise, and I will see you.